Okay, I'd like to call our Town of Pierson regular council meeting to order on Tuesday, September the 16th, 2025 at 6:30 p.m. Yvonne, would you do a roll call of those present?
Yes, sir. Mayor Gray Leonard.
Here.
Vice Mayor Robert Grant.
Here.
Here. Councilwoman Jimmy Anderson.
Here.
Councilwoman Lenny Richardson. Here. Councilwoman Brandy Pierson. Here. Town Attorney Scott Simpson.
Here.
Town Planner Mark Corrett.
Here.
Deputy Clerk Ryan Smith.
Present.
And the Volusia County Sheriff is present.
Okay. Lynn, would you please lead us in our invocation?
Gladly, sir.
Thank you.
Let us pray. Dear Lord, I come to you tonight asking to please, first and foremost, bless the family of Officer David Jewell that was savagely murdered in Daytona. Dear Lord, please grant peace and strength to his family, his co-workers, and the whole town of Edgewater as they try to get through this horrible tragedy. Dear Lord, please always bless our law enforcement, no matter what color uniform they may wear. Dear Lord, I ask you tonight, please, to continue to bless our precious town, all our citizens, everyone involved with the inner workings. And I ask these things in your great name. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Everybody please stand for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, first item on our agenda tonight is approval of the minutes from our regular meeting on September 20th, 2025. Has everybody had an opportunity to look those minutes over? If so, I would entertain a motion for approval.
Move to approve the minutes from Tuesday, September 2nd, 2025.
There's been a motion to approve by Councilwoman Lenny Richardson. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilwoman Brandy Pierson. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
So carried. Minutes are approved. Item number 5A is the Taylor High School Homecoming Parade. Is Jessica Bell here? She is.
Good evening.
Good evening. Good evening.
We are requesting to have the parade October 17th at 1:30, and we are also changing our route this year. So instead of coming through the town, we will be turning right at the light. We will be going down to the elementary school, through their parent parking, and then back to the school. So our detours would be at the light at Washington, to West Washington, to Volusia, to Palmetto, and then the same.
So you're going to go turn right, go up the highway to the elementary, make a loop through their lot,
Yep.
and then come straight back to the high
Yes, sir.
school. So you're not coming through this part.
We're not coming through the town. Yep.
Will we be able to get the sheriff's officers here? We'll be able to get you guys to help with that like you normally do on the homecoming parade with traffic?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So anything else?
That's it.
And what time does that kick off? Give me the date. 1:30? The time?
1:30. So October 17th at 1:30.
1:30 on 10/17. Good deal. All right. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sounds like a plan. Next item on the agenda is 5B, 4th Avenue, Finico Estates, and that's Jeremy Stedman, please.
Evening, how's the council tonight?
How are you, Jeremy?
Jeremy, how are you? All right, I met with Mark and Yvonne about this. We called it 4th Avenue. I don't know if it exactly aligns with 4th Avenue. So what we're talking about in question is a driveway would be just north of the old Rowell house. That is an access point for all the north end Finico Estate lots. There is a single wide trailer in the easement or that we need to see about getting removed. Whether it be at the council's behest or at my own, I'd like to see about getting this driveway opened to access those properties.
So Scott, when he says easement, what he means is an unopened this mobile home trailer is sitting in an unopened right-of-way, so.
But it's the actual Fourth Avenue right-of-way, correct?
It's a paper right-of-way, but it's not his property, you know, so.
It does belong to the city.
So the question is, what do we have to do to get rid of?
How long has it been there?
It's been there for several years. I don't know.
I would say
exactly.
20 plus at least.
It's been there a long time. The windows aren't a lot of windows broken out of it and stuff. And I don't know that anybody really knows who the thing even belongs to, do they?
I don't know who it belongs to. I think it was put there around the time the Rouse still lived in the South Side house.
I remember bringing that up at a council meeting a long, long time ago, asking about what we needed to do to get rid of that thing. And it's basically, it appears to me to be an abandoned.
Evidently, it's not inhabited then, correct?
No,
I don't believe it's
not
ever been set up.
habitable. I mean, I think most of the windows are missing out of it, or a lot of them are anyhow.
Right.
Yes, they are.
Probably the best thing to do, and there are state laws that govern abandoned property on public property, like when people leave things on public property, there's a process you can go through, and I'll send that information to staff, and then we can go through. I mean, obviously, we could go over there and tear it down, and probably no one would ever say anything, but if we follow the posting process, we provide a little legal protection.
Okay.
And just get it out of there.
You're wanting to have it gone so you can use that
So
planted roadway to get to your property.
my ultimate goal is to open that roadway. I have 4 lots back there, and I'd like to
You
be
want
able
it
to
to be a
access it.
public roadway?
It is a public road.
I mean, it's a platted road on the map.
Platted road, but
It's a paper road,
Right,
it's a
never-
paper unopened
But you want
road.
a road back to your 4 lots?
Correct.
Do you want it to be a public road, or are you going to make it a private road?
I don't care if it's a private road as long as I can access it.
If it's a private road, then you'll be the one maintaining it, correct?
So we'd have to vacate it.
And we'd have to vacate the right of way.
The other option, and I don't know if it'd be quicker or not, but one option is for us to vacate the right-of-way, and then it goes to the adjoining property owners, which I assume would be you, and then you can do whatever you want to do with that trailer. That's another option.
I'm not against that either.
So, which way would y'all prefer to go?
What's the quickest and the cheapest?
Yeah.
For the cheapest, vacate it. We need a survey, wouldn't we?
Cheapest for us is to vacate it.
And then he builds the road, it's a private
Jeremy's
road,
problem.
he maintains it.
Cheapest for him is the opposite.
But when we vacate it, it becomes private property. Now you got something on private property, which is much easier to remove than something on public property.
Correct.
We just have to go through a different process.
Okay.
And if it's a public road, and I guess, we maintain that. That's ours to maintain.
It's just platted.
Well, I understand it is, but he's gonna build something.
Yeah, I mean, he wants to be able to get back to his
Yeah,
property so he can,
do we want it to be our road to back to his property, or do we want it to be his road
I
back
don't
to?
think we do.
Let's vacate it.
Be
Then we
his-
vacate.
Yeah.
I think the vacate would be the easiest thing for everybody to do. I mean,
Mark, can you rough up quickly, legally?
Yeah, we have to look at what the other lot, are there other lots?
That was gonna be my question.
My question was going to be, if he wants addresses to make those buildable lots, is that possible where they're positioned now?
Truthfully, I don't exactly remember the configuration, because Flanico, I've looked at a bunch of stuff.
So when it comes to that, I used to own some property prior in Emporia that was in the city that had Blackburn Road addresses, but were on a private road.
Yeah, it's possible depending upon where the
You can
access.
have private road, they're still gonna deliver mail, that's the question. I live in a gated subdivision, it's all private road.
No, just so he can get 911 addresses for the properties.
I've had the fire department come out when I had too big a bonfire, they figured out how to get there.
And I'm not so concerned with making them, 911 addresses now as I am getting the road open so we can access them and do something with them.
Well, if we can get a legal description, we can vacate it. And then that technically gives you more property. So when you go to subdivide, you have more property
Right.
to deal with.
Are your properties the only adjoining properties to where that trailer is?
No, there's going to be several. But
Okay.
the way that Flanico's divided back there, there's probably within each block, I'm going to say 8 to 10 lots.
Because if you vacate that road, then the road goes back to the owners of all the lots.
Yeah, but I thought you said
So
you
in
owned
other
both
words-
sides of the road.
No.
Oh, you don't?
Both
Okay,
those.
then-
Yes.
He owns property basically at the end of that, which would be the end of that road, correct?
So
Up near the railroad. track.
there is, I think if I remember correctly, I don't have the map in front of me, there's 3 different blocks back there. I own 3 lots in the middle block, 1 lot in the last block, which is closest to the railroad tracks.
But ultimately, that road goes in to where your property's at.
Correct.
So if we vacate the road, what happens is typically it will go to the adjoining property owners of the vacated right-of-way, to the center line of that right-of-way. And that's why I asked, did you own property on both sides? So if you don't own that, then we might be cutting off access
Right.
to your property, because if that's the only access, and if you don't own the property on either side, you then have landlocked property. How would you get, do you have access to your property?
No, there is no access to
Okay.
it.
Then,
The only access is the platted 4th Avenue, correct?
Correct.
yeah, so that's not a good option then. So we'll just have to deal with it, abandoned property on public right-of-way, and if, when you go to develop your properties,
The town
you can
council will have
deal
to
with it.
decide what, how improved that road needs to be. I mean, there's nothing, it's not like the county. In the county, it's very clear. If you're going to open a road, you clear it, you pave it, right? There's nothing in our land development code that, settles what that is, so that'll be up to the council in terms of...
Well, it would be, we did that on a road, I don't know, several years ago, if I remember right, and we basically just opened the road and left it a dirt road. That was the
Katie's.
property going into Katie's, right? And it would be
There's
basically...
platted roads all in that block, though.
Yeah, there's platted
It's
roads
just
everywhere.
Cut up with roads, from what I remember seeing the
Yeah,
last
I mean, you
year
guys
ago.
just have to establish what, it's your road, you establish what you want.
All right.
Jeremy, approximately how long it is from the paved road back to your properties?
I do not.
I think to answer your initial question, I don't think vacating is the best idea.
Right.
Because you're going to be landlocked. So we're just going to have to deal with getting that off of the public right-of-way.
Okay.
And I'll send staff what the law is on that.
So we're going to try to just basically open this public road, is what you're saying.
Well, what we're going to do is get it off of there, and then you'll have to come in with subdivision plans for your subdivision that address that roadway, meet with Mark and staff.
Yeah,
And then
you
you-
won't be subdividing.
Yeah, because it's already subdivided pretty small.
Yeah.
We're just looking for access to it, is all we're looking for. So all I'm asking of the
So-
council... Go
So
ahead.
he'll want to come in with a building permit, and he'll want to know, obviously, the town is not going to clear and, pave that road for him.
Right.
So the question is, what are we going to ask somebody to do if they want to, open a road and access their property? Like I said, the county land development code is clear on what you do. The town's is silent. So,
I mean, I don't know that we have to answer that question right now. We do have to answer it eventually. But when you come back in, the options are, I have a few options in my head. If you got with all your neighbors, and we could vacate it, but they would give you an easement over the property, then it becomes a private drive, like a long driveway. But then if we can't really address it that way, then we're going to have to address it with my thinking is you can come in, you can create a road with, like Mark said, we got to determine the standards, but we may want to have an agreement that road's maintained by you and anybody else who drives on it.
Sure.
So those are things that we'll just have to deal with at that time.
Okay.
And it wouldn't necessarily have to be a paved road. It could be
No.
like
I think
a
that's what Mark was
line walk
saying.
road, graded road,
That's what Mark was saying, we don't have standards to that. If it was county, you would have to have a paved road, but we don't have that requirement. So to some extent, it's y'all's decision on what kind of access do you want in there and what kind of access he wants. Is it
And
one way, is it two-way, depending on how wide it needs to be. I don't know.
when we arrive at cost or determine how this is going to play out, I'm not against incurring the cost of removal of the trailer as long as I have permission, and opening the road up to be a dirt road. I can get it cleared and then have dirt and graded and everything.
Yeah, I'll shoot the loss of the
So the
staff.
first thing we need to work on though is removing that trailer, correct?
So that's probably going to be what, Scott, about 30 days if we have to have like posting requirements and whatnot?
Yeah, I'll have to look and see. I'll send it
So
to you.
probably
But
at least.
What if the damn thing just disappears?
If it disappears without city help, that doesn't matter. I don't need it disappearing on the back of a city truck.
I mean,
But,
it obviously doesn't have mobile homes, they're supposed to keep their registration reading.
yeah, it's abandoned. There's no question it's abandoned.
Yeah.
I think there was a situation a couple of months ago, maybe the sheriff's office can answer this, about a single-wide trailer that was left in a right-of-way in Deltona that had to be moved, that somebody abandoned. Are any of y'all familiar with that?
Not that particular one, but we always advise people to consult the statute on abandoned property. We can't give advice on civil legal issues. So
That's probably the same abandonment statute I was talking. It's abandoned property on public right-of-way, public
But
property.
that thing's been sitting there for years.
It has.
Oh, I know. It's been-
Well, I
Jeremy,
think,
who owns the property on the north side of that easement?
So that I looked up, the corner wood frame house belongs to somebody last name of Torres. And then the rest of it, as you go back, is all divided.
Yeah.
Sean Braddock does circle in behind it, I think. And then the rest of it down my side will all be small lots.
so we need to, what's the first step we need to take?
I'm going to give staff basically, I think the direction is we need to get that thing off, the mobile home off the city's property.
Yes.
Off the right-of-way, so we'll start that process, and we'll work with the individual here, gentleman here, to help expedite that as fast as possible.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Jeremy.
Jeremy. Okay, the next item on the agenda is item 5C. That would be Paul George. You're going to talk to us about Hagstrom Road.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I know we've talked about Hagstrom Road several times. I don't know where we stand with it. Last I heard, we was doing surveys and all sorts of things, but we've been underwater for 2 months now. They've got signs down there warning people that the road is underwater. There's no lights flashing on, there's no nothing. And I'm just afraid that somebody's going to crash there one night.
I agree with you there. I think if we're going to have those barricades there with the signs on it, that we need to have something with a little blinking yellow light or some kind
I
of
think
caution light
somebody
on it.
stole one of the lights,
Okay.
and then the other one don't work anymore.
Well, maybe we need to try to get some lights on both those barricades and get them working. And I know that there's been talk in the past that there used to be a canal that drained that area and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, so I can talk to that issue.
But I don't think there's any evidence of that, is there?
Well, I mean, this goes back a long time, but this recent effort where we started talking about what we can do to clean up canals, if you recall, this started just before the election. The former mayor indicated that he believed that there was a ditch that ran directly eastward from Hagstrom Road and conveyed water towards Cane Lake. If you recall, we brought some aerials to a meeting, we looked at that. There's, he was talking back, his memory of when he was a kid, so it was fuzzy. And as it turns out, there was no canal that ran directly, eastward of Hagstrom Road when we went back to, 1947. But we did see what looked like canals that were further to the east that basically ran north-south that would have taken sheet flow, that was heading basically due east and then conveyed it kind of northeast into Cane Lake. And so what we ended up doing is sending our environmental team out there to find those ditches, because we thought that they needed to be maybe, maintained and reestablished. And so they did go out there and they found those canals. But what they found is that the water is flowing in them. It is moving, north to south. So those ditches are still functioning and they're carrying water. So they went back, they kind of traced their way back to the road. And we had a meeting with Ryan, engineer in our firm, those biologists. Basically, what has happened is basically Hagstrom Road cuts off what was an existing wetland system. There's wetlands both east and west, and Hagstrom Road kind of cuts that in half. And so what happens is those wetlands sort of fill up. Hagstrom Road is damming that, and then they, crest up over the water. It sort of sits there.
Settles in the low spot.
Yeah.
Over the years, I think Hagstrom Road is sunk in that
Right.
swamp.
I think it has.
So it's either sunk,
The
it was
road's
probably
down.
built
Road's
too
down.
low,
Yeah.
and then it's subsided from there.
I think the water flow is not even an issue. I think the issue is the road needs to be built up with culverts, and then the water will flow home,
yeah.
because
So-
it's low
Right.
swamp right there.
And so we did look at that. In terms of what would need to be done, the road, the adjacent area is like at elevation 41, and you'd have to kind of build that road up, kind of going north-south till you at least get, build it up to about elevation 43, so that, so we're going up, 2.5, 3 feet for about a 500-foot distance. That's very expensive. And we don't know what it would cost. The estimate the engineer just off the top of his head threw out in that meeting, about $1 million, maybe more. Now, that makes sense. We looked at this a long time ago. When I first got hired, we looked at it about 10 years ago, and the cost then was about $500,000. So, add 10 years, that makes sense. One of the things that could be done now that would at least provide some relief and might make things a little bit better. It's not a solution, but there were, when the biologists went out there and they walked up and down the road, there are swales that have not been maintained. They just run along the edge of the road. That obviously would create some volume for the water to sit in and stay off the road a little bit longer. And so that probably should be done. I don't know if you guys really have the equipment to do that. The county probably does, but
I emailed Road and Bridge, and they wrote me back and told me for something of that scope that they would bid it out because they don't have...
to build the road up, I agree.
But
But
to clean out those...
Just to
canals.
clean
He said he's
it?
got one crew. That's all he's got.
Okay.
So I did get an email just this afternoon from, it wasn't from Louis Trivet, it's from Stephen Corley, who is one of their engineers and inspectors at their Public Works Department. He said he would come meet me out there if we wanted him to look at it, and just let me know if that was something that we could possibly bid, like piggyback through them, through some of their, because they put stuff like that out to bid too. So he said maybe you can piggyback on us and, use some of our contractors or some of our people. So, it's worth meeting with them to see what they've got to say. It might at least get us a number. But
Something's going to have to be done with that road.
That's a liability.
I know it's a lot of money, and we don't have a lot of money. But somehow or another, something has to be done with that road, or it's just going to become impassable.
At some point, you have this road and you have some other roads. You're going to have to explore the idea of issuing a general obligation bond or some other form of debt to have enough money to take care of these projects and pay for it over time.
And the problem is you go around the corner, and that's underwater half the time now.
It is.
Two spots.
Well, if I think that one spot that's underwater there, I believe if those ditches were cleaned out going down to where those culverts are,
That's a
that would probably
possibility
help it.
made.
I don't know if that would totally solve it, but I know that water definitely runs
And it
north.
just running.
It runs north when it leaves Box Lake, that water has a tendency to run to the north because where those culverts are, that water's flowing like crazy there a lot of times. But that's,
Well, that road has been there for my whole lifetime.
yes.
And I just, and it's just over 65 years, it's just sunk.
That's right.
I mean,
Well,
it's
the
wet
base is
anyway.
getting wet.
It was never built up like it should have been when it was put in there.
It was probably put in the best it could be back in the day.
Yeah.
But that, I'm like, well, I'm 77, it's been there ever since I can remember.
Yeah.
And, but something has to be done.
It is, that's the eyesore is right.
But-
I agree.
It's a liability with that water. It's been, I'm just now seeing pavement on the west side of the road this week, first time in probably 2 months.
But back to the barricades, I think that needs to be a priority.
On that.
Yvonne, if you would make a note of that, we need to get Public Works on top of that ASAP, like tomorrow, and get those lights working again, so people will at least be aware that the water's over there. But
Well, I guess my question would be, if we got the ditches cleaned out like they were supposed to, could we not just put a new culvert in there? I mean, the culvert is obviously not in
I'm not sure there's a
existence.
culvert there.
I think that there was at one time.
I mean, I don't know if there's a culvert there or not.
And I think that the culvert's sunk in the mud.
That's exactly.
Yeah, I mean, if there was,
If there is a culvert there, it's still in.
If there is a culvert there, that
It's
whole,
filled in.
everything just.
it'll help. It won't eliminate the problem because you'll still get water against the base of that road unless you bring enough of it. I mean, when they say raise it up, they're talking about raise up the base, right? Got to get the base above, a decent amount above elevation 41 because the water is sitting at elevation 41. So.
But that is one thing I think Mallory talked about, is because Hagstrom now bisects two sections of wetlands, that water wants to move and it can't. So part of the solution is eventually going to be culverts will have to go under the repaved part of the road.
And you could, if there were a culvert there, you could do something cheap, which would be, reestablish the swales. You could put in a small culvert, and that would help because some water would flow, but it's not a solution. It's not a
Right.
permanent solution. It
But
would
I
help.
think money-wise, that's where we're at right now. I mean, I don't know that we can go get $1 million to build up a road.
We don't have it.
No, you'd have to.
I mean-
We'd have to talk about bonds or something.
Yeah, we'd have to talk about bonds.
That's a long process. It's not going to solve the problem overnight, but the culvert, do you think of just cleaning out the swales and?
Swales will help because water, there'll be it'll be a greater volume for the water to sit, so it'll take longer for it to, or heavier rain before it sits on the road, right? Because you'll create some volume on the sides of the road that will hold water.
We can get a half inch of rain right now and cover the road.
I was going to say though, Mark, that road is so low.
It is
I don't
low.
know if cleaning those swales out is going to do much help at all.
It's going to help a little.
It'll help a little bit, but
Yeah.
it's just, what it's going to do is that water that's out there a little away from the road is going to come into those swales. That's what's going to happen.
If there was a culvert there and we could find it, that would be helpful.
Yeah, that's true.
Scott, do you know anything about general obligation bonds?
Well, the general obligation, if you're talking about pledging the tax revenue, you have to go through a referendum. If you're going to pledge that.
Yeah, and
And I don't know if there's, how much has been done to try to get grants and interest-free loans and from DEP.
Yeah, so, I mean, the thing about grants, I mean, there are grants out there for building new roads. Believe me, we've looked, but both together and independently. Is there anything that'll help you maintain roads? And
That's what I found. You can get a grant to build a new road, but it's hard to get a grant to fix a road, basically, right?
Right.
Or nearly impossible.
Okay.
Is there any state disaster money for flooding that could apply to that? Because I know a bunch of cities miraculously somehow got money to fix flooding issues.
I mean,
Palm Coast has gotten something, because I know they didn't come up with that on their own.
yeah.
So I'd be curious to know if that applies.
Well, if we get any rain, it's not gonna get any better, I can tell you. I mean, if we got a tropical storm right now, that road would probably have to be closed.
Yeah, I can't drive down it when it's bad in my car.
No,
It's too-
I don't doubt that at all. I mean,
There's a lot of, there's two businesses on Hagstrom. You got all that traffic, you've got these shipping trucks and semis coming down through there. And all the people that live down Lover's Lane or whatever, they all, when they're coming from the
They
land,
come out and-
they come that way and go down Shaw Lake,
well, you think that we need to go ahead and try to look into getting those ditches cleaned out? That's one of the recommendations that you're.
If Mark thinks that it might.
I mean,
He knows.
you should be maintaining those swales in any case.
Definitely wouldn't
Now,
hurt.
Further down the agenda, I have ditch spraying, and if it's
If
in
you
the
do-
town limits, it's included.
If you do dig out the swales now, do we have to put up some kind of barricades or something to keep people from running off the road
Well, it
into a
depends
ditch?
how big, depends how they're cut.
Well, I mean, if we can schedule a meeting, if someone on council wants to go out there and meet with the Stephen Corley and see if the county can maybe do some clean out for us there, or dig some swales for us
When's
there.
he coming, Ryan?
He just asked me if I wanted to meet with him. He said, let me know when you're available and we can set up a day and time to look at the project.
Go ahead and set up a meeting and I can meet you.
You're probably.
Right there.
You're probably as familiar with that as anybody sitting there too, because you've lived there all your life. I mean, I've been there a long time, but I haven't lived right there like you have. So. Okay. So we're gonna set a meeting with, County Road and Bridges? Okay.
We might also want to reach out to Richard Gentry and see if we can get on the list for an appropriation from the governor next year. 'Cause why not? I mean, it's worth a shot.
I think that would be a good idea, but I think somebody that's got a little more clout than me needs to reach out to him, because he has, I've spoken with him on the phone a couple times, and he was going to get with me on this and get with me on that, and he informed me that he was on the appropriation committee and so on and so forth. And I've tried to set meetings with him 2 or 3 times. He has never followed through, and he's never contacted me back and give me a date when he can meet with me, and I've tried several times. So maybe one of y'all might have better luck.
I can try contacting him.
If you,
Yeah. I'll get his number from you and I'll call you.
I got it.
We can,
Yeah, I'll give
we
it to
can
you
reach
before
out
we
to him. I'm
leave
sure he's
tonight.
got an office. We can reach out to them too and see if we can schedule something.
There's also, what's the other guy? He's over, he's in our district, but he's over, I think he lives over in Port Orange or on South Daytona maybe. I'll have to look.
Good deal.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you, Paul. Moving on to item number 5D, it's the Iglesia Missionary, and they're wanting to see if we can give them a permit. The lady sent a letter, I don't think she's here tonight, I didn't think she needed to be. They're looking for a special permit to park an RV from October the 30th through November the 14th, basically for a couple of weeks, by the Catholic Church, or not the Catholic Church, but the Hispanic Church up here where the auto repair place is, right there next to Andy's
Oh,
Shells.
yes.
For their pastor, he's an international minister that comes there and does like revivals and stuff. So what they're wanting to know is if we can give them a permit or give them authorization to put that there for a couple of weeks.
I think there's plenty of room in that parking lot there that we could do that.
I mean, they've had it there before, and
Yeah.
this time they're actually coming forward and,
Right.
And asking.
and it's been there before, and I think it's self-contained. I mean, they're not going to be dumping any waste or anything like that. It's just for their pastor to stay there while he's doing his ministry there at their church for a couple weeks. So I would throw that out there for any further discussion or any motions.
I don't think.
I move to approve the allotment of a RV to be parked at the Iglesia Missionera from October 30th to November 14th.
Okay, there's been a motion on the floor by Councilwoman Lenny Richardson to authorize the issuance of the special permit to park an RV from October 30th through November the 14th at 274 South Center Street, which is right there by where the auto repair place is at, for a couple of weeks while their pastor's there doing his services. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Seconded by Councilmember Jimmy Anderson. Call for a question. All those, is there any public comment on that? I didn't mean to bypass you guys. Thanks for reminding me. Y'all have any questions about that, anybody?
About what? About what? What he was talking about?
No, about the RV that's going to be parked there by the church. Okay. Being no further discussion, I have to call for a question.
Call for the question.
Yeah. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? So carried, unanimous vote. All right, moving on to item number 5E, it's Volusia County Sheriff's Office, County of Volusia. I'm going to turn this over to our town attorney, Scott Simpson.
Yes, I think it was last week, Captain Henderson reached out to Yvonne and wanted to have a meeting with Yvonne and I, and we ended up scheduling a Zoom meeting, and Ryan was able to attend, and I think Captain Henderson was there, and then there was the CFO.
Captain or Chief Deputy?
Chief
Brian
Deputy.
Henderson.
Chief Deputy, sorry about that. And then the CFO for Volusia County, the finance guy for Volusia County Sheriffs, one of the county attorneys was on this meeting. I think there was one other person, I can't remember. But the gist of the conversation is that we are heading into uncharted waters between both with the county and with the city. And with the city not having a police department, looking to the county to provide services. We are a municipality, but they are, kind of geared to provide patrol services in the unincorporated area. So we had a discussion. They explained to us how they do their funding. And there's basically they have two funding sources. Ryan pointed out, earlier when we started this, about $140,000 we pay in taxes, Pierson property owners. And that is used to fund countywide sheriff services. They didn't list all those services, but examples were the sheriffs in the courthouses, I believe the helicopter service, maybe others. And that's one source of funding. The other source of funding is when they do patrol services in the unincorporated area. They have what's called an MSTU, which stands for Municipal Services Taxing Unit, which levies a tax on those unincorporated properties to pay for the patrol services. And they said they can't use the MSTU money to pay for services inside a municipality. So it kind of came down to an issue a little bit with, they have a question over how the funding is going to be handled from their perspective. So I said, well, it seems to me there's two issues here. One is, what services are the county sheriff will provide when we don't have a contract? What services won't they provide? I said, to help me advise my client, it would be nice to have a list of the services that the county won't provide if we don't have a contract. Didn't want to give a list, which I now understand. They don't want to say what they will and won't do. And then the other issue, I said, is how the county decided to set up their funding. I don't know if it's state mandated, I said, but they confirmed it wasn't. They chose to set up their funding because other counties, and it's about 50-50 based on the counties with the approximate amount of unincorporated areas we have in Volusia County. Some will just levy a countywide tax to pay for patrol services, and everybody pays for the patrol services, even though they don't get patrol services in the incorporated areas. But they thought it would be better to fund those patrol services and have the people in the unincorporated area pay for it only, so they set up the MSTU to pay for those services. They have a separate tax, as I indicated, to pay for the countywide services, so they kind of broke it up into two different funding sources. Ryan mentioned, he said, well, why don't you charge us the MSTU rate? Then if we were in the unincorporated area, we pay that, which was a pretty low number, like 130,
160,
16, something. And the CFO said, well, that's not, there's some really high-value properties over on the east, on the coast, in the unincorporated area, and we get other revenue sources that kind of skews those numbers. And I said, well, the flip side's true here. In Pierson, we have a lot of ag-exempt property that skews our numbers the other way. So kind of, that's one of the issues we're having. So we talked a little bit about options and availability, how we can try to do things. And you see the email that was sent, because that was one of the options, dropping it down to one FTE. So, and I asked him, I said, it would be, if we have one, obviously, we haven't seen the contract, we haven't seen the schedule or anything like that. I asked him, could it be rotating days, maybe? So, for lack of a better word, criminals wouldn't know to say, hey, don't commit crimes on these days because the sheriff's here, but let's commit crimes on these days when the sheriff's not there. You've got a better time to get away. So they're going to look into that issue. I also asked them, could we have kind of an a la carte, where if we wanted something more for a specific purpose, they could say, this is how much that would cost. And so we would have that. And this came after the meeting we had. So, and they said one of the options was, can we just keep the status quo for 1 year? And I was like, well, what do you mean by status quo? And he says, well, $345,000. I said, no, I'm not taking that back to the council. I said no to that. We wouldn't be here if they were willing to pay that. So that led to this, but as you see in this letter, there was discussion. They really think we need to have two FTEs, full-time enforcement, and they want us, they hope we negotiate, get a 1-year contract, which we haven't seen the terms of, so nothing for you to vote on tonight. This is just an update, with the goal of this next year trying to negotiate a longer-term contract. So I threw out to them, and I made it crystal clear to them, this is not an offer. I have not discussed it with my client, have not discussed it with staff. But what I have is the county wanting to increase the level of service to what they think we need. And I have a client who can't afford that, cash-wise. So is there non-cash things we can offer to help offset that cost? So what I asked them, to me, and I haven't looked at the population allocation in the county, but grew up here, and I have a general idea. It seems to me the northwest area of Volusia County probably has one of the highest populated areas in the unincorporated area. We have a lot of people living in the unincorporated area, which the sheriff has to provide service to. And I said, my client has this building, school, where there appears to be a lot of empty space. And I said, if y'all need to have a true sheriff's office, like a Northwest sheriff's office, not what they have here, but where somebody is staffed, they're receptionists and there, maybe we can come up with something where we provide that space to you free of charge in exchange for a substantially reduced cost to get 2 officers there. I'm trying to find a way to resolve this issue where they have this number they want to be paid and we don't have that cash, so can we offer you something else? And the other thing I think would be great about it is if we had, and fortunately I haven't spent a lot of time around the police department, I guess, but it would seem to me if you had the type of facility I envision in my head, you would have deputy sheriffs driving there and back. So they'd have to come through Pierson. So you have deputies just driving through Pierson. just the presence. You increase the law enforcement presence, and there may be during the day 3 or 4 sheriff deputy cars sitting there. Or this is what I kind of envision might be beneficial. But I made it crystal clear to them, never talk to y'all. You may have totally different intents for this property, but I said, I'm trying to figure out a way to bring the parties together where we can have a win-win situation. Did they ever come out and look at the facility, Yvonne?
Not yet, no.
They said they were going to make arrangements to come out here and look. We just talked to them last week.
Yeah.
So they're going to come out and look at the facilities and see if that's a possibility. I don't know if they have a need over here, but it just seems to me there's a lot of people living, and a lot of businesses in the unincorporated area in the northwest area of Volusia County. And maybe the sheriff ought to have a central hub where they can service that area. And if we can offer them that central hub, free of charge or substantially reduced rent, we're a long way from talking about that, but it would obviously be a sweetheart deal. In exchange for giving us a sweetheart deal on the 2 officers, it could be a win-win. But that's down the road. We need to see what they want to do on this 1-year contract, and then next year we'll spend time talking about that. But if I said it multiple times. I can't make an offer. This is not an offer.
You're not here to make an offer.
No, this is a topic to say, hey, why don't you look to see if that's a need you need, that you have, the sheriff has, and let's see if we can help you satisfy that need in a way that's a win-win for all of us. So that's where it kind of sits. You see this email came in after that. I have not seen a contract. Have you heard anything, Yvonne, other than this email? No? No, okay. I should put my glasses down. So we need to wrap up this issue. The 1-year contract first. We'll bring it back to you, see what it says. And then if that goes through, we'll start talking to them about a longer-term arrangement, hopefully. The other thing I asked for him, and I asked for y'all, and I said, I was trying to be as diplomatic about it as I could, is I said, I really don't want to negotiate this in the paper or on the news. So just let staff, for both sides, I told him, I said, your side and our side, we're going to let staff work out the best arrangement possible, then we'll bring it to our bodies. We don't need to negotiate this in the press. If we can avoid it. It could potentially just make things a little harder. So I just asked that of everybody involved. Just let the staff try to come back with the best deal. You can vote it down, that's fine. We have not made any commitment to them. But I think we can bring back something that is hopefully doable, something that can provide some benefit to the sheriff and provide benefit to Pierson and its residents, and that's what I'm striving for. You got to have a win-win deal here for both sides.
One thing that it just has been in my craw, they keep alluding to 2 full-time employees.
Right, but it takes 2 full-time employees.
I get that.
Right. To provide 12 hours a day.
Correct. But it's 1. We get 1.
I get how it's worded, because when I read the contract, I could see how, and then when they came here and explained it, then I could see how they interpreted it. It could definitely be worded better. I will 100% understand this. But to get an officer, a body, a law enforcement, a deputy sheriff here 12 hours a day takes 2 people. And so that's why they say 2. To do 12 hours a day, you need 2 people.
Right.
If you want 24 hours a day, it takes 4.
I get that. Yes.
So we're getting 2. We're getting 2.
Just not 2.
It's just not 2 at the same.
We don't have 2 simultaneously.
Right. So
Is a sheriff's day, is it 12 hours? Or is it 6?
I think it's 12.
It's 12.
One of the issues they have when we were talking to Deputy Chief Henderson is they have to work with this within their union contract. So they have a union contract that controls how many hours people, they work, and so they got to fit whatever we do within the terms of their union contract. And that seemed to be an issue that they're working with. So it might be hard just to say, put 8 hours.
But to have a deputy here, 12 hours a day, 7 days a week, takes 2 actually 2
Exactly.
deputies.
Yeah.
I mean, if you think about it,
There's only one working at a time, but to cover that 7-day time frame, it takes two
Yeah.
people.
Well, that's 84 hours to have one deputy here. 12 hours a day, 7 days a week, that is 84 hours a week. So to cover 84 hours, you got two
need at least two people.
full-time plus overtime.
Yeah.
To do it. So. But I totally understand what you're saying, because when I first read through it too, I was like, okay, we get two deputies. But after they explained how they came up with it, I understood their point. I think it could be worded better, just to make it a little clearer that way, but I understand what they're saying. So. Then if you just think about it, how many hours of manpower it takes to do 12 hours a day for 7 days, one person can't do that.
Right.
No.
And if we have 2 people here a day, that's equivalent to one person 24 hours a day, or 2 people 12 hours a day. That's just going to double that. And that's what Oak Hill has.
That's what Oak Hill has. It's 4, their contract says 4, but it's one 24-hour.
One person, one deputy there,
Yeah,
24
for
hours a
full-time
day. It
coverage.
takes 4 officers to do it. So we're going to hopefully, unless the commission says don't do anything, which is your prerogative, otherwise staff will hopefully give us the county.
But they're willing to do it for 1 year.
Well, you have what we have right now.
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
that's,
We just haven't got a price
But
yet.
it's still $345.
No, it's 160 something.
it'd be half the price.
In the email, he says it would be about half.
Well, it says half,
So
but
do we need to email him back? and
345
ask
divided by 2
for-
is 172.5.
Do we need to email them back then and ask if they can provide the draft contract to us so we can
Yeah.
review it?
We need to see the draft contract, and,
Yeah, let's look at it.
but,
I agree.
but this is just to update y'all.
Right.
And, obviously it's your prerogative to say, don't talk to them, we're fine where we are. That's your call. But, I think this is something that allows us, brings you, something, what we were kind of asking for, we were saying, hey, let's negotiate something lesser service, lesser costs.
This is what we thought was going to happen 3 months ago, that they were going to talk to us.
Yeah, would have been.
I like the idea, though, of what you stated about offering them a building for a sheriff's department
Yeah,
here from the
hopefully.
northwest part of the county. Because it's a big area. It's
Yeah.
a big area
I think that's
from
a-
DeLynn Springs to
Yeah.
Astor to the county line north of Seville.
I hope it works out, because I think that
And
would be a
Highway 11.
win-win. I think that'd be a win-win.
It's huge.
Or the county line, yeah, it's a
It's a
big area.
huge area.
And I'm not really familiar with all the space, but Yvonne talked to them and said, well, we got this building here, and we got this building here, so there's quite a bit of space here that's available, is my understanding.
Yes, there are.
Could I ask a few questions about this? Because I've had experience.
If you'll come up to the mic and tell us who you are,
My name's John Cleveland. I live down there in Hagstrom.
okay?
Now, a while back, I had experience with the sheriff's office. I had a drug addict next door. 3 o'clock in the morning, he's making noise. I called the sheriff's office. They asked him about it. And then when he comes back out of there, I said, well, what did you say to him? And I didn't say much. I just, I said, well, did you ask him why he was awake at 3 o'clock in the morning? I can't ask him that, he said. And then for 3 years, it went downhill from there. And I would call these guys every night. They started threatening me for making phone calls to them, complaining about this guy. And I said, I don't give a rat's ass how long it takes. Every time he comes out and makes noise, I'm calling him. Finally, somebody in the back, what's his name before he passed away? That truck driver down the road from me, Alan. Alan finally spoke to that neighbor in the back, and that neighbor in the back was complaining about it to Alan. Alan says, well, John, from calling the sheriff, you got to call him too. She did. It stopped. They finally did something. But that took 3 years. What kind of crime do we have around here? I don't know. But do we have a kind of crime? Do you guys got to spend a lot of money? Do you understand, too, that they sent letters out to us? The community people? The sheriff's office did? Okay. Because he's not playing fair, I don't believe, doing that. I personally, I wouldn't give him nothing. I'd call the state police when there's a problem. Can't you do that?
No, we can't. That's not an option. There's no such thing.
Well, that's how I feel about it. I want to give you my 2 cents.
Thank you.
I got 2 more cents about this water bill.
Thank you.
Don't spend it all in one.
So I think that we need to go ahead and let them, or we'll look at the contract.
Look at the contract.
12-month
Look at the
contract,
contract.
and then discuss with them about the facility and
Yeah.
go from there. So you're waiting on somebody from the SO to come up and meet with you or contact you to do that?
Yeah, or they can email us a proposed contract. Would y'all care, I mean, and I don't want to like negotiating publicly, just contrary to what I just said a second ago, but I was thinking about it. It kind of makes sense that this contract goes from October 1st to September, the fiscal year matches up. So I was thinking about proposing that if we do a one-year contract, it goes retroactive to October 1st. But they may already be providing services in there, but that's what I'm going to try to see what we can finagle out of, as opposed to something that goes from November 16th to November 15th, the one-year contract.
Yeah, because the one we currently had, it ran out November, or going to run out 12th of November.
After we gave the 6 months notice.
Yeah, but I think that the fiscal year contract would make more sense to me.
I think so too, yes.
So, they may be providing two services for part of, for the first month or so.
Right.
And then they go to, so we have to structure that a little bit, but we'll see how we can work that out with them.
Okay.
But I will push for an October 1st contract, even though it may have to be retroactive.
Yeah.
That makes more sense to me.
Yeah.
Keep it all in the fiscal year.
That's what I thought too.
Yeah. Anybody else have anything on this before we move on? All right. Thank you very much, Scott. I appreciate all your efforts here. All right, moving on to be item number 5F. I'm going to ask Lester Pulley to come up and see if he has some information for us, the county traffic safety meeting.
Hey, good evening.
Good evening.
So I attended the traffic safety meeting, the county traffic safety meeting on Thursday, September 4th. Mostly talked about school zones once again. A lot of talk about McInnes up here in DeLeon Springs. A lot of traffic problems up there with speeding, wrong way drivers making illegal U-turns. There was talk about window tinting. It's too dark on the windows. It impairs vision and cell phone use in the school zone. I think you're going to see an increase of law enforcement up there. They probably already have increased law enforcement up there, especially during drop-off and pickup.
Up at the elementary school? Or where are you talking?
McInnes up here in DeLeon.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
Highway Patrol is checking brakes on commercial vehicles. They are repaving from DeLeon Springs to Dollar General here in Pierson. They expect that to take 6 months. They have lane closures where they're working on it. They're doing a section at a time, and they're going to have lane closures where they're doing that. A lot of people are taking County Road 3, and FHP said do not speed on County Road 3, so I think they're watching that. I've taken both. I've taken County Road 3, and I've taken Highway 17, and there is a little bit of a wait on 17 if they're working. They got the lanes closed. There's a lot of talk about micro-mobility devices. These are the things that kids are riding now, like e-bikes, scooter kind of things. They're motorized, but they're like electric. Hoverboards and stuff. They've had a couple kids hit on these, had some pretty serious injuries. Apparently, there's not really many regulations or ordinance dealing with these, so now the towns and municipalities are trying to come up with ordinances for these. Maybe something down the road you're going to have to do here. I would just look and see what other people have done and maybe just adopt theirs. I got passed by a scooter thing today on Washington. He was on the sidewalk and I was driving my truck and he went by me, so they go pretty fast.
I'm familiar with those. We adopted a regulation in Holly Hill and we had to do a lot of research on that. We ended up banning them on all sidewalks.
Okay.
The city roads.
It is a motorized vehicle. But
they're pedal power too. Some of them, they're regulated by the speed they go and do they have pedal power. And they're top maximum speed, and it's very strange the way they wrote the law, because sidewalks are only supposed to be for foot-propelled items, means of transportation, except it's provided somewhere else, and they start creating these e-bike exceptions. And so we've had a lot of complaints from people, like they said, they go very fast. And,
yep, they do.
And we banned them and said you got to be on the road. You can't be on the sidewalk. You need to be on the road. So.
But then, does it have to be street legal?
Some of them I think close are. I don't know what street legal means. terms, it's not like.
It would have to be registered, I would think. They'd have to have a tag on it.
I don't know. It's,
I don't know.
you know, we looked at the idea of regulating the speed, but that was going to be kind of a pain. Like, they couldn't go over 10 miles an hour, but you're going to have to be sitting there with a radar gun on these e-bikes. And we just said, let's just put them in you got to be on the street, you know. So.
That's something to think about for the future. You might want to look at.
So basically what they did, if it's not mechanically propelled only, or unless you're walking or riding a bicycle, basically, it's got to be on the street.
Right.
So if it's got an electric propulsion on it, it's got to be on the street.
If it's other than foot propelled,
it's got to be on the street.
It's got to be on the street. And so that's what we did in Holly Hill. And see how it goes. Sometimes you never know when you adopt regulations.
So I would look at places like Holly Hill when you go to adopt regulations, see what they did already. I brought up the speeding over here when the high schoolers are getting out on Franklin and First Avenue, and they said that there are traffic calming devices, and Ormond has done that over on A1A. There's things like you can do lane shifts or speed bumps, speed humps, rumble strips. There's different things you can do to calm traffic for the kids getting out of school. So that may be something to explore, maybe look at what Ormond did down there on A1A.
What did they do? Did they put rumble strips? Is that what they primarily
They talked more like they were doing lane shifts over there, and I don't know
A little
exactly.
chicane type thing. I mean, it was not cheap.
Oh, I know. That's where I was headed. That's a lot of money.
I would think maybe speed bumps or humps or something.
They're expensive. I spoke with Oak Hill, and they had installed a bunch of speed bumps things, and they said they were $4,000 a piece. So they were leaning more towards the sheriff's office for help to write some tickets,
Just writing
get some
tickets.
pocketbooks, and, you know.
Yep.
I will say that I've noticed this week that we've had, I don't know about down on Blake, but I know on Frederick a couple times this week when the kids have been getting out or taken in, I've seen our deputies there monitoring what was happening. But I think the key to that is when you stop them getting their pocketbook. I mean, if you just keep writing them warning, they're not going to. When their insurance rate goes up and mom and daddy has to pay money, then things will change. But as long as you just tell them to slow down, they're not going to.
They are or were doing bridge enforcement, and that's the weight limits on the bridges. They wrote 12 tickets for over $14,000, so it's pretty serious if you get caught going over the weight limit on a bridge.
Where have they been doing that at, Les?
I'd have to look back at my notes.
Is it like in the...
Probably over there on the intercoastal, I would think.
Yeah, either that or maybe some of these smaller bridges in the cities.
On the east
I
side.
don't remember where they were doing it. They told us in one of the meetings.
That's all right.
Yeah.
I'm just curious. That's okay.
Marsh Road was one of them.
Okay.
The only exemption is the fire department. Trash trucks are not exempt. Commercial utility vehicles are not exempt. Nobody's exempt except the fire department.
On the weight limit?
On the weight limits. Fatalities are down 12.5%. However, injury crashes are up. So, and they are expecting more activity, more crashes with the upcoming holidays. And that's what I've got.
All right.
Any questions? I plan on attending next month too.
Thank you, Lester.
Yep.
Thank you, Les.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
All right, moving on to item number 5G, the Volusia League of Cities 2026 dinner. The Volusia League of Cities has reached out to the town of Pierson, and they're wanting us to host the League of Cities dinner on Thursday, July the 23rd, 2026. So it's a little less than a year away. And I think we've done that in the past. I believe we've made some arrangements with the Lions Club to rent or use their facility. And according to the one I've got, they really like the barbecue.
That's what
And that's what we had last time.
Yeah,
And they said, they had rave reviews we had for our last barbecue meeting in Pierson. So that's kind of what they're wanting to go for, is a barbecue dinner. So, yeah, that's a hint. So,
I think that was a hint.
so we have that coming up on, it's going to be on July the 23rd, 2026. And Jackie, sometime, maybe at our next meeting, we can discuss.
Mayor, we
Yes.
do have a cafeteria now, too.
We do.
Facilities we can use here.
How readily is it, what would it take to get it 100% squared away for a League of Cities dinner?
Clean it.
Okay.
Get tables and chairs in there.
Well, we can,
I just think we need to start
I
using
think
this
we need to use
facility
it,
as
too.
much as we can.
I do too, I just wasn't sure how ready, how
Let's
much
look,
it
we
takes.
can look at it.
But so we
look at
got two options.
Yeah, oh,
Option
yeah.
one, let's talk about the cafeteria, and then if it's not going to be feasible, then we can meet with the Lions Club and talk to you guys about maybe using your facility on that. Who wants to tackle the challenge of taking on the cafeteria?
I
Getting it
will.
cleaned up, okay?
I got a whole year.
All right.
Got this.
Okay, all right, I'm gonna saddle you with that, and if you need help, let me know, I will help you.
We'll all help you, Brandon.
We'll all pitch in and get it done.
Yeah.
Come to the podium.
Yes, please.
Heather, 163 Frederick, great idea. How about doing like a community service and offering to sign off on seniors' community service hours?
We have they know they can get volunteer hours from us. We do it for 4th of July, and we never get any volunteers, maybe 2.
Okay. Well,
we do offer
They
that
can
to
if they want to, but we don't usually have many takers. Yeah.
I mean, maybe if I,
The schools,
Every
every year, they don't seem interested.
okay. Well,
We
It's
try.
summertime, so they're not.
but I mean, even if we like start doing it during the colder months,
Well, that was for the,
July 26th.
Yeah.
I'm talking about just getting it cleaned up, not necessarily
the
ready.
community center. Oh, well, we
Not
have
the
a
community
cleaning
center, but the
company,
cafe.
so-
Cafeteria.
Yeah.
But I don't know, just an idea.
Okay.
Because I have a lot of people asking me about community service, like that are playing sports, and I'm like, I don't know.
They're more
Like-
than welcome to if they want to.
Yeah.
They're like, can you please sign off on my form, miss? I'm like, what are you community servicing right now?
Right.
So I don't know, just an idea.
Yeah, no, that's great.
Okay.
Thank you, Heather.
Thank you.
Thank you, Heather.
I thought she meant.
Any more discussion about the League of Cities dinner?
Nope.
All right. Moving on to item 5H, Town of Pierson Event Committee. I'm going to call on Denise Colflesh, please.
Denise Colflesh, 150 West 3rd. That's a perfect segue, because what I want to do is get a group, kind of like what Robin and Kelly had for Pierson Community Association, where we do events, but we could also help clean up. Like they did the garden cleanup, we could do the cafeteria cleanup, and we could help do more than just the 4th of July, you know? And I think other cities and towns have lots of residential committees, and I think we need one too, for all kind of things.
The one thing I'll say about it that I've observed, and you're correct, you do have committees. You can have a committee of residents that get together to help the city. If the city formally creates the committee, now all of a sudden the sunshine law applies to you, and public records law, so it limits your ability to talk to each other outside of a advertised meeting. So that's one of the negatives of it being a formal city committee.
Right.
And I've been in cities where we've dissolved committees as city committees, but they stay in existence. It's just a group of citizens who get together. And we still recognize them, they can come up and they help with the city and do everything. They just not subject to the sunshine law, public records law, keeping agenda, minutes of the meeting and all that stuff. Because a lot of these committees, say you had an events committee, and I'm not, trying to sway the commission or anybody, council or you, but say you're working together, setting up something, and you say, wouldn't it be good if we did this next year, or we did this next year? Well, you're discussing something that will come before you for a vote, and you're not at an advertised meeting where the public's at, you have a sunshine violation. So these committees seem to work better where, for the city to set them up where they come together, they meet, they come up with an idea, but then that idea is implemented by people not subject to the sunshine law, such as staff. Staff can go implement it. You just got to be cautious, because I've seen it a lot where the committees are appointed committees, a formal committee by the city. They're appointed by the city, but they're also the implementers. They go out and they do the work and everything, and they sit there and talk while they're working. All of a sudden, you're talking about something that should be talked at a meeting. So it's just something I would not say don't do the committee, but if you do it, just understand there are rules when you do it. So.
Okay, what if we have a one-person event committee that rallies the other residents and takes complete direction from the council?
That's called Yvonne.
Okay, someone other than Yvonne, because she's got enough to do. Yvonne could be it. But we want to do more things. We want to have more things like Seville has it, although they're not a town, they're not incorporated. We want to be able to utilize the space. We have this building. Let's have bingo. Let's have line dance lessons, or exercise classes, or bingo, or bunko, or whatever,
I've talked to them in Seville. They are not municipality.
Right.
They're not bound by all the same rules. If you come in under an event committee, like he said, you're bound by the same rules I am. So you cannot talk to Robin outside of here about anything related to any event about the town. Period.
If Robin and I are both on a committee.
Correct.
On the same committee.
Right. But
anybody on that committee. You can't talk to nobody on that committee about anything that committee's going to speak about.
Okay, so let's don't call it a committee. How can we get this done so that the residents can rally up and utilize things under the town, with the town?
And I'm not saying you have to formally create a not-for-profit organization, but there are...
Yeah, we don't want to do that. We did that and it didn't work.
Yeah. So, but you can't, there's no reason you can't, if you're not raising money, collecting money, giving people charitable donations, you don't have to worry about the 501c3 status, not-for-profit. Just a group of y'all can get together and say, let's, start together. We come up with ideas, you meet with staff, and you come to the commission meeting and you meet. And then all of a sudden, what I've seen is over time, you'll make your way onto the agenda to start to give reports of these are the events we're looking at recommending, the commission considers it, and then y'all go out and you help organize these events. Sometimes the events are put on by these private groups, like in Lake Helen. They have, when I first started representing them, I said, guys, we really need to make sure we understand which one is the city event, which one is this private event, because we're blurring the line, and that's a liability question. So, but you can actually get to the point where your organization or group would actually be putting on these events. So, but I think I would start, an option is to start with a group of people who want to assist the city in having events, put together ideas and events, and then talk with staff about it. And then you could come in and do a presentation to the commission, say, these are the things that we would like to work on, and start promoting these. Are you, is this something that y'all want us to do as a private group?
Okay, but when you get into a private group, then we have to have our own insurance. And just like the 4th of July celebration, that's the town puts that on. So I would like to do the Christmas stuff. Let's get back to where we're doing Halloween carnivals or fall carnivals and stuff like that.
Christmas. The Christmas is going to go forward. I mean, they have been doing that with Santa Claus and stuff. the Pierson Community Association just brought it here and made it more than what it was. And we continue to do that.
Yeah, I
that is
wanted
on
to
our
grow.
agenda.
I wanted to grow
And there-
more.
I mean, we have volunteers all the time. Anybody can come 4th of July, any event we put on, we're always looking for volunteers.
And you can make
Nobody
it
ever
clear-
shows up.
You can make it clear that what you are putting forth are ideas for the city to do the events, and y'all will assist the city as volunteers to do that.
Correct.
You know, if the city says we don't want to do that event, and you say, well, wow, we really think it's a good idea, then you can say, hey, can we do the event? And all of a sudden, now it's your event, and all of a sudden, yes, the insurance changes, and you get those issues. But, and I'm just throwing it out there. You can certainly have an events committee, you can have a parks committee, you can have all kind of committees in the city. It's just, you got to understand that the sunshine law applies. And it's,
Scott, are they allowed to solicit things like donations as long as they're going to the city? Like if they say we're
you
helping
would
the
want to
city
be
plan
very,
this or
very
that,
careful that what you're doing is the money is going, you make it very clear that they're making donations to the
that
city.
they would just stop by and give it to us,
Yeah,
basically.
yeah.
So
If
we,
you took a donation, it would be better off if it was in a check made payable.
It needs to go to Town of Pierson.
And earmark it for whatever.
for whatever event it is? Okay. Are y'all good if we start doing that?
Denise, I like your concept, I do.
Yes.
And I think we've got plenty of area here that we
Right.
could be doing a whole lot more.
Yeah,
And
we need to bring the community together.
Exactly, and I don't think, I think it's, we can do this somehow or the other,
Okay.
is
I
what
think
I'm
we can.
thinking.
I agree with
And
you.
I would,
I think you just bring an idea to staff, and if it's
Yeah.
fully fledged and we think it could go somewhere, then we just put you on an agenda, and you guys just present it,
Yep.
and the council yays or nays it.
Okay, so my first one would be Christmas. Can we do the Christmas like it was last year where it was big and
Yes.
the
we are going
trees
to.
and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah.
Okay. If I get a group together, can we help?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
A group of volunteers that come in and
Yeah,
help.
or even clean, like you said, clean we'll be happy to do that.
I have, whenever you're done, I've got two people here that are staring me down.
Okay, go ahead.
Sue, would you come up? You're far next on the list.
Sue Elliott, Minshew Road. We had an organization, the PCA. Kelly and Robin Green had it. It had its own insurance, it had everything. But 8 people were the only ones doing the work. And so they all quit. We just dissolved the organization. In fact, Denise, I think you were a member of it. But if you're going to do something like that, I mean, they had incorporated it with the state, they had tax numbers, they did everything. And it just did not fly because people just didn't show up to work, and it was the same 8 people over and over again.
I think that's one of the problems you find with a lot of things,
yes.
is that you have a whole lot of people that want to do it, but when it gets right down to it, there's only going to be a handful that shows up to do the work. Yes, ma'am. Hello.
Hi, Brandy. Okay, I never see anything. Like, I never see, like, we have 2 Facebook pages. I don't know who they're run by. I don't know who is, like, the approval for the admin, because I had made a post this afternoon about the town hall meeting, thinking that it would be approved, that maybe more people would show up and, like, actually, spread their voices outside of Facebook. But it didn't get approved. So it's like, I don't know about these ideas that people are volunteering for. Like, I would love to. I'm trying to teach my daughter how to be more part of the community. So it's like, how can we get the information out there?
Are you not friends with the Town of Pierson page?
I am.
But
Yeah,
don't they pay, don't
Ours
they-
is, the Town of Pierson with the little verified logo is the only official, those other groups are just run by residents. We don't have anything to do
Well,
with
that's what I'm saying. Like, how can we find out what
happening in
residents are
Pierson
running?
is Kyle Durden. Pierson Community Association is Debbie Summers.
Okay. Because, yeah, like, and
we don't, no one here, and that we have no control over any of that. No.
And I think that y'all should. In a sense of, like, there's so much scam on those pages, like, you have to, like, really be, like, there was one just last night. New to Pierson, can't wait to get my business off the ground, send me $5,000. And I'm like,
Well, that's why I went through the trouble of getting ours verified, because
Okay.
that's the only one we're affiliated
so
with.
the one that says Town of Pearson is the only
It'll have a
one.
little blue verification badge next to it. That's
Okay.
the only one that's official.
And it's the town logo.
Yeah.
Because, like, the other one has, like, the town sign, I think. Correct. But, and Denise had come to me with this idea, and I think it's huge, because I want more, like, I don't want to have to go to another town for my daughter to see community togetherness. Like, I want to do, like, parades, like, have people, like, dress up their gators, but, like, put money to the town so that it's not costing the town anything. Kind of like how we do at school. We do fundraising at school. We buy stuff, we borrow from the school, then we pay the school back, and then we make our profit, and we keep it in a separate bank account, and we just take from that anytime that we want to do community projects, whether it's a 5K or a walk for breast cancer that's coming up. Like, something just to get more involvement and more younger involvement.
Younger involved.
Like, I just took on the Methodist thrift store. And I'm just, like, and it's like I told them, if more younger people, not calling y'all old geezers, but if more younger people would know about that thrift store, there's designer bags and designer shoes, and it's just about promoting and just saying, hey, $5 to join. Whoever wins, and I think it'd just be good, but not costing the town anything, just borrowing a little bit and then paying it back, and then just solely working off of our profits.
Well, I don't know that we can do that, right? I mean, the school's different than what we can not borrow them money for them to pay us back.
Well, no, that's a little different.
Yeah, I don't think that part, I don't think we can do that. That's why when Robin and them were setting all this up, I believe that's why they created the Pierson Community Association, because of all these legalities of where the town would be liable. Gotcha. That's why we said it was easier when they did it, and Robin's back there, and she may want to speak on it as well. That's why they went that route.
Okay.
Is so they could have more flexibility with the spending of the money, because we're on a budget. And we're very fine-tooth combed on that budget.
Yeah. No,
not just by the people of Pierson, by the state, by all of the...
Yeah, and I know that Denise and I both said, like, we're not trying to bankroll y'all.
No,
and so I think we just want to come. We want to come, like, we want to make an idea that we can all just, make have fun and not cost the town of Pierson anything.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And Robin may want to speak on that as well, because we have went that route before.
So, Robin Green, 570 North Pine Street, Pierson, Florida. Yes, we did have a Pierson Community Association for about 2 years. To Scott's point, sir, we did try to do this the legal way. We went and got incorporated. We followed all the nonprofit rules and regulations. We got all of the charity tax donations. To Sue's point, we had a lot of folks that were like, "You're doing great, we want to help," and no one showed up. Not that I normally share this, but I know a couple of you are well aware that the quitting point for us, unfortunately, was the last Christmas festival. We had 10 people who said they were going to show up, help put that together. We explained to people why we needed people there. No one showed up. Mr. Mayor came out there, and I appreciate that, trying to help. And I remember some of the folks in town hall so angry that I was out there. And I was out there, and I shouldn't have been, because I had just had major surgery. I wasn't even supposed to be doing half the stuff I was supposed to be doing. And had I not been out there trying to help Kelly get that done, we would not have been ready in time to have Santa Claus. At that point, we sat down and took a look at the finances. We sat down and took a look at what was supposed to be the help we were supposed to be getting, Kelly and I lost almost $10,000 putting that association together, footing the insurance, footing the required costs for the paperwork, making sure that we had everything where it needed to be. We did do the fundraising, barely broke even. We did put what we did make, most of it back into the community. We did donations up to the school. We also donated, I know, to the town a couple times to help. I would love to see the community more engaged and more involved. But it's a lot more than just putting out there. You got to have people show up.
Right.
So, yeah. And I do want to thank every single person at Town Hall and every single person on this council, because every time the Community Association asked you to show up, you showed up. And I wanted to thank you for that support, and I'm sorry you couldn't keep it going.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kelly.
Okay, moving on to item number 5I, under new business, Volusia County ditch spraying. Councilmember Randy Peterson.
We've talked about it several times, about all the ditches being overgrown and needing a slope mower, and I contacted the county. They sent me a proposal, which is in your packet. This is the estimate for the town of Pierson, so all of our areas, and it's 643816 is what the estimate is, but that includes ditch spraying, that includes with the glyphosate, that includes the ditch cleaning with a mechanical machine, and row mowing, slope mowing. They estimate it to take about 100 hours to do that. I mean, all the pricing's there. Just didn't know what we need to do here. It needs to get done. I think this will help a lot of the water standing on some of the roads besides just Hakestrom.
I do too. I mean, I think that we got a lot of ditches and stuff and culverts that desperately need cleaning out. And we don't have the equipment to take care of a lot of this stuff. And so the only avenue I see of getting it done is what Randy's suggesting on trying to get the county to
And this does not include any part of 17 because that's DOT.
Right.
Just so-
This is basically our inner city streets.
Correct.
Would the county give us a contract based on this estimate, or is this all the paperwork we get?
No, this is all we get. But
This is all we get.
Is this normally all we get from them?
And this is like this is a one-time.
This is a one-time work estimate.
Yes.
It's not like a contract.
It's not like a monthly
Yeah, I just said
service or anything like that.
So when they clean the ditches, they're going to haul away the debris?
Yeah, yes.
So, how do you guys feel about this?
We definitely need
Yeah, we need
the slope mowing for sure. And a lot of ditches does need to be just scooped, clean the grass off,
Out of the
so
bottom
the
of it.
water can flow better. I'd say let's go for it. We can afford it. Whether we can or not,
I
we
think
gotta get it done.
I think it's a service that's necessary, because it's,
Sir, I'm gonna have to ask you to wait till you're recognized. Thank you.
I think it's a service that we need, and I can't remember the last time these ditches have been cleaned out.
Oh,
Well, I think this is a starting point for us to get to where we need to be with what equipment we need to purchase in the future to be able to do it ourselves. And I think that's why we're in the predicament we are, because we don't have the equipment to do the mowing of them.
I looked into,
And a lot of them are wet.
yes, they are.
Yes.
I looked into also renting one of those slope mowers. I don't
You
think
can't-
anybody rents one of
No,
them
you
because of
can't. I
liability
did too.
factors. Because you got to be, a certified operator apparently to use one of them and stuff.
Yes.
Brandy, can they do this when it's wet, or are they going to wait until it dries out?
He said they come through, they're doing it now. They're already doing up in this area on Old 17.
Yeah, I saw they were doing County Road 3. So, was
He
that,
said they come through, they spray, then they come through and clean, and then they come through and slope them.
was that a motion on your part, Jimmy?
Yes.
So there's a motion on the floor by Councilmember Jimmy Anderson to approve the work order estimate for Volusia County Public Works to do this work on our inner city ditches and culverts. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Jimmy Anderson to approve. There's been a second by Vice Mayor Robert F. Greenman. All those in favor say aye. Aye. So carried. So we'll go ahead and contact the county and get them started with this.
Mr. Mayor, he did have a question before we made
Yes,
that.
sir.
The only question I had was this dredging on Hagstrom. Like my property, I'm going to be buying some fill, and if you guys are dredging those ditches, you could throw it in my yard. You don't have to truck it off, you know? That's all I wanted to let you know.
You might not want that in your yard.
Yes, sir.
Sorry, I missed the price.
The price is
$64.38.
$64.38.16. $6,438.16. That's to clean out all of our inner city ditches and culverts.
That'll take care of Washington too over there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Washington, North Road.
It'll take care of everything except Highway 17 and County Road 3. Any of our inner city ditches and culverts that need attention.
So while we're on the subject of that, real quick, I noticed driving in today, the state has mowed again up to Palmetto and stopped. And left all that in front of the school and all that through by the airport.
Because that's the
Do we need to
contract.
contact them? And I know we've written them a million times, but, yeah, I mean, we write Charlie Super all the time, and he says,
Well,
I'll add it to the list.
Charlie Super or somebody had a crew of people working on Highway 17 yesterday, I believe it was, edging and stuff. They did a little bit of it, I don't know, half of it. And
where did they do it at?
Some of it was edged between 2nd Avenue and 1st Avenue, and I think there was another section that they did some edging on. They didn't touch any of the sidewalks that I saw. It was mostly the curbing. And then I had a gentleman tell me, Frank at the PFR said that they left one of their weed eaters laying on the side of the road, and I went and left there trying to find it so we could pick it up and hold it for them, and I guess somebody else beat me to it.
So the way it was explained to us is that the contract split up. It's not a linear contract. It says that one contractor mows all of 17 from the county line to here. So like the contract that goes up to Palmetto may be a different contractor than whoever mows from Palmetto to Hagstrom or whatever. But it's funny to me that north of Palmetto always gets mowed and south of Hagstrom always gets mowed. It doesn't seem like they ever come mow in the middle of town where it looks the worst.
I've seen this contractor, he's like an orange, white, and black looking truck. And he only comes here maybe once a year.
I was going to say, like maybe 6 months ago before the rain started, they were all over across the street at the Mexican restaurant. And they got out and there was like 10 of them and they mowed like around 1st and 17. I haven't seen them since then. I haven't seen them all summer.
Besides Charlie Super at DOT, who else do we contact there?
We used
Have
to
we put
contact
it in?
Heidi, but she's no longer in that position. So
Charlie Super had a contract with DOT.
Right, he's a third party. He's the contractor. But if you
Okay,
call
so
DOT, they refer you to him because he's in charge of this whole area.
Well, we need to explain to them that he ain't doing this area, and that's the problem, and we're not getting a phone call. I mean, maybe we could put an email to them.
We got to figure out who replaced Heidi.
I don't know who replaced Heidi. Maybe
we can call down there.
We can call. There's a local DOT number, I'm sure.
But that guy, Charlie Super, whatever his business is, he's the one that has the contract.
Okay.
And he's supposed to be mowing, I think, everything from Palmetto to the South Hagstrom Road or wherever it's at. And the ditches there between Washington and the elementary school, they're horrible. They never take care of them.
Well, and one of those times we had Dustin go mow before school started because it was so horrible.
Right.
Charlie is the area operations manager for a company called Versar, and they're the ones that maintain this area up here. He's got an address of Commercial Drive in Holly Hill, so apparently they have an office in Holly Hill.
But no, we need to reach out to DOT. That's their right of way,
I agree.
and we need to hold their feet to the fire for that. It's disgusting.
I agree.
Yeah, because we got,
Looks bad.
put a water line in for anything, we got to get a permit and wait till they get around to giving it to us.
Well, and also it's coming into our town and leaving our town, and it doesn't do us.
Looks like
It looks horrible, I agree
Yeah.
with you.
And then people look at it and say, oh, the town of Pierson isn't doing their job. It looks out of
When in
our-
fact, it's not, the DOT should be taking care of that, exactly. So can we reach out to them again?
Yep. Yep, do it tomorrow.
Anything else, Brandy?
No, that's it. Thank you.
Okay. Moving on to item number 5J, it's the second reading of ordinance number 2025-08. And I'm going to turn that over to Scott.
Ordinance number 2025-08 by title only for second and final reading. An ordinance of the Town of Pierson, Florida, proposing amendments to the Code of Ordinances of the Town of Pierson, revising municipal water regulations, providing for severability, providing for codification, providing an effective date.
And that's regard to our rate increase, correct?
No, the rate increase is next. This is
Okay.
water rate regulation.
All right, got it.
What this is, Gray, is in our water regulations, first off, there were two sections in there, Article 2 and Article 3, that were duplicates. So it was a bunch of redundant language, so I removed the entirety of Article 3.
Okay.
But we're also taking the rates out of the ordinance and saying that it will be set by resolution. So instead of being baked in, we can change water rates by resolution as needed. Because the original rate of $15 used to actually be in the ordinance. And when we raised the rate back in 2021 or whatever year it was, that never got updated. So if anyone were to ever look that up, there's a discrepancy between the $17.66 we charged. Yeah, so I think it just needs to completely come out. So what you're doing is the ordinance basically takes all that out of, and it does add language that says that you as a council are allowed to review the cost of living every year, determine if you need an increase in January. So, but we can talk about that, I guess, with the resolution at the same time, because technically it was advertised as a public hearing on the water rate for this guy.
And number K, or item K, it's also entitled Resolution 2025-08.
Yeah, you've got an ordinance 2025-08 and a resolution 2025-08.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll do that one next after we do the ordinance.
So we need to do
I make a motion to approve ordinance 2025-08 on its second and final reading.
there's a motion on.
This one's an ordinance.
Okay.
There's a motion on the floor by Vice Mayor Robert F. Graham to approve ordinance 2025-08 on its second reading. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilwoman Brandy Pierson. Would you do a roll call vote?
That's the public.
Yvonne, do you have any comment, anybody in the audience wants to know about this? Okay.
And this is just changing, this gives us the ability to change by resolution instead of ordinance.
Correct.
Right.
Along with eliminating redundancies.
Right.
Correct.
Councilwoman Brandy Peterson,
Yes.
Councilwoman Lenny Richardson.
Yes.
Councilman Jimmy Anderson,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Robert Greenland,
Yes.
Mayor Gray Leonard.
Yes. Okay, now moving on to 5K, this is Resolution 2025-08, and I'm going to turn that over to Scott.
Resolution number 2025-08, by title only for first and only reading, a resolution of the Town Council of the Town of Pierson, Florida, adopting an adjustment for the increase in rates for water services, providing for conflict, providing for severability, and providing for an effective date.
Anybody have any discussion on this?
Need to ask them.
Yes, sir.
I have a few questions on this. You know, we just had a property tax increase, and now you guys are increasing the water bill here. And like he had just said, you just increased it a few years ago from 15 up to 17.98 or 50, whatever it might be. Well, I see this commercial usage. What did they used to have before? I don't know what they had before. Like, I know what I'm paying, but I don't know what these commercial people were paying before this increase here that you're suggesting of $63.52.
It was $54.06.
It was $54?
Yeah, it was a 17.5% increase across the board. So,
okay. So I look at this and again, we just had our property taxes increase, now you guys are thinking about increasing the water again. Why can't we put this on the commercial growers? Spread it out over this, these 544, 571 on down, and increase those numbers to get rid of what you're going to do for the residential.
We haven't had a residential water rate increase in quite a long time.
You did it about 8 years ago or 6 years ago.
And prior to that, there had never been one.
Prior to that, there's never been one.
In 35
I know.
years.
I've been here since '69. I understand. I was very happy with that. But the taxes, they've been killing me on the taxes because of the way we set things up over there, and I can't get my people on board.
I don't know if you're aware, we've got 2 new wells online now. We have done a lot of upgrades to the water storage tank that were necessary. We've spent a lot of money to keep our water system.
I hope it's clean, personally.
It is.
We got all kinds of problems with nitrates around here, and I'm surprised we don't have a problem here with that, with all the growers we have.
We've spent in 25-26 $255,820 on our water system.
Hey.
So now, with these extra wells online, the expenditures double the chemicals, double the labor to have the water company do their required testing.
I don't agree with this. That's all I came to say. You've got your reasons to do what you need to do, but I just don't like it. And I think this is socialism if you're throwing it on us. This is residential people.
I'd like to say this to the audience. If it wasn't necessary, there wouldn't be an increase.
Correct.
That's the easiest way to put it.
Yeah. Still don't like it, though.
I know.
I don't like my taxes, and I don't like it.
I agree. I agree with you.
Thank you, sir.
You too.
Okay, resolution 2025-08.
Is there anybody else?
Anybody else? Any more discussion in the council?
I can give you just a real quick recap. So we agreed on 17.5%. The main reason for that is because from the last increase we had to the most recent increase we had, there's been a 17.5% increase in the cost of living adjustments that the Florida Public Service Commission uses to establish utility rates. So we just based our number on that, but also part of the reason, I know someone asked me at the last meeting when we brought this up, they asked why it was necessary, and like you kind of touched on, $43,000 for a vent and mixing system to keep the water in the tower hopefully from going stagnant. People used to complain it was cloudy, it stunk, you know. The final construction on the new wells that came online, because the grant only covered 80% of those, and then there was also an overage. There was, you know, by the time we got the grant and got started on construction, the construction costs had gone up $230,000. So the town had to eat that over the course of 2 years. We replaced the altitude valve in the water tower, which was causing the water tower pressure not to equalize, and we were having trouble keeping the tower full. We replaced all the gate valves, 8 and 10-inch gate valves in the tower, because some of them were frozen up. We couldn't turn water off. We couldn't, close the valves. At the old water treatment plant, the health department is requiring that we install a flow meter, and we have to do a 5-year pressure tank inspection, so that's going to be about $7,600, which is going to be coming up in the new year. And then, of course, our operator costs, when we went from biometric to CWS, increased almost triple. But it's because we brought the new well online. They're having to sample 2 well sites, the tower, And then, of course, We have a wastewater treatment plant design loan that even if we decide not to have a sewer system, we still took out a loan to design a wastewater treatment system, and that will be $7,600 a year in payments over the next 20 years. So all total, you're looking at added expenditures of $255,000. Some of that's one time, some of it's annual. And then, of course, I didn't put on the sheet, but Hawkins contacted us. I did the math. It looks like Hawkins' increase in chlorine is about $200 a month more. So you're talking $2,400 a year, but that's only for one plant. So now you're talking, you're going to have double the chlorine, you know. Duke Energy, there's an entire power meter over there that will power the new well. You're talking probably, I don't know what the current one averages, but you're looking at like $800 to $1,000 a month on that, depending on what's using power over there. And then just increases across the board in things like materials and things like payroll costs, retirement costs. You know, our utility clerks' pay does come out of the water fund. So it's just one of those things where it's necessary. It might not be necessary every year, but it definitely is necessary now. Someone asked me about reserves. We've only got about $200,000 in reserves in the water fund. And per our CPA, it should be enough for a year's worth of operations, which in the water fund would be closer to like $470,000. So we also need to try, if we can, to slowly put a little bit of money back in those reserves. The reason we don't have it, obviously, is because we've paid out of pocket for the overage on that well construction. Otherwise, you'd be better off than you are now. But just, so as a summary, that was the reason for the increase.
Thank you, Ryan.
Yeah, thank you.
Did we have
I'll make a motion to approve Resolution 2025-08 as read.
Okay, there's been a motion on the floor by Vice Mayor Robert F. Greenland to approve Resolution 2025-08 as read. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilwoman Lenny Richardson. Yvonne, would you do a roll call vote, please?
Councilwoman Brandy Peterson?
Yes.
Councilwoman Lenny Richardson?
Yes.
Councilman Jimmy Anderson?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Robert Greenland?
Yes.
Mayor Ray Leonard?
Yes. Let the record show. Roll call vote passed unanimously. Moving on to item number 5L, ordinance 2025-09. This is the second reading on this ordinance, and I would like to turn this over to our town attorney, Scott Simpson.
Ordinance number 2025-09 by title only for second and final reading. An ordinance of the Town Council of Pierson, Florida, amending the Unified Land Development Regulations to incorporate ordinance number 2014-01, providing for applicability and severability and providing for an effective date.
Does anybody have any questions? Anybody in the audience have any questions on that? Any more discussion at the table?
Mark, what is...
Mark, would you run this by everybody?
Sure. So in 2014, we adopted changes to the town's flood management ordinance. That was, for whatever reason, that was never codified. It basically became a standalone freestanding ordinance. The state of Florida has also mandated changes. So we're dealing with Rebecca Quinn from the state of Florida. Rebecca in my office has been working very closely with Rebecca. So if you have any questions about the actual details of the changes, Rebecca's here tonight to answer those. But essentially, we have no choice. This is entirely...
We basically have to adopt this flood plan.
Well, we adopted it before, and it was actually in our code of ordinances, but it's not supposed to be there. It's supposed to be in our LDR, in our land development regulations. But in the process of moving it over, in the last 11 years, they have updated definitions for a lot of the stuff that was in there. So Rebecca at the state basically said, let's edit it, let's amend it and update these definitions and then completely move it out of your code of ordinance into your land development regulations. So that's what this is accomplishing.
So this will take it out of that, move
We've
it
been
all
working
into
on
the
this for,
LDR.
yeah, we've been working on this for 11 months, so let's hope that no other changes have taken place.
And she calls frequently.
Yeah, we get a lot of emails from her.
Does
But it's
anybody,
basically minimum standards, right? I mean, we don't really have a choice. They're,
We don't have a choice. It's part of the participation in the, flood insurance program.
anybody have any individual questions they'd like to ask? Anybody on the council? Anybody in the audience? Okay, being no more discussion, Yvonne, would you do a roll call? Or is there a motion to approve? Sorry.
Move to approve ordinance 2025-09.
Okay, there's a motion on the floor to approve 2025-09. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Councilwoman Lenore Richardson to approve ordinance 2025-09, seconded by Councilmember Brandy Peterson. Yvonne, would you do a roll call vote, please?
Yes, sir. Councilwoman Brandy Peterson?
Yes.
Councilwoman Lenny Richardson?
Yes.
Councilman Jimmy Anderson?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Robert Greenland?
Yes, and let the
Mayor-
record show that this is the second and final reading.
Yes.
And Mayor Gray Leonard?
Yes. I thought we stated that. Item number 6, other business. I don't have anything at this time. I reserve the right to come back if something happens, comes up later. Vice Mayor Greenland, do you have anything?
I would just like to state that to the events that happened last week, I don't know if any of y'all saw it or not, but our councilwoman, Brandy Peterson, had a fabulous post on Facebook,
Yes, she did.
Yes.
and I would like to commend you for that.
Thank you very
Publicly.
much. Thank you.
Thank you, Brandy.
Thank you.
That's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. Councilmember Jimmy Anderson, do you have anything?
Yeah, I did have, but I'll hold it to the next one.
Okay.
Because I got something else to say then.
Okay. Councilwoman Lenny Richardson?
So, yes, I had a citizen come up to me here in Town Hall, asking again about what are we going to do about the signage in the windows of the stores. I guess in our ordinance says it can only encompass 50% or something.
I think it's 25%.
25% of the window.
Window space.
We've talked about this for a long time.
Yes,
I mean,
we
is it
have.
time to enforce these things? Or,
Well, if we have those ordinances, they're in place, and if they're violating those ordinances, I think we need to take the necessary steps to at least attempt to enforce them. And I don't know, probably the first step would be maybe writing those
a letter?
owners a letter, telling them, stating exactly what the ordinance is, what it calls for, and give them an opportunity to change that.
And we've done this in the past, they have corrected it, but then years go by and
they just add back to it. Well, let's see if we can get them to correct it again, and then maybe we can do a better job of the council will stand on top of it better.
Okay. The Town of Pierson sign at the south end of town, weeds and all growing up around it. I know eventually it needs to be replaced, and we cannot do that right now. But it needs some attention, weed eat around it or something.
Is that the wooden sign
Yes.
coming in just north of where the restaurant
Yes.
and laundromat's at?
Yes. And one more thing, I know it's going to be coming before us probably at the next meeting. The property north of town, that the request has been made to rezone, annex into the town and rezone. I would like to ask my fellow council to please go look at that property. That's all I'm going to say about that. And that's all I have.
I would encourage other members of the council to look at it as well. I have gone up there and looked at it. And I'm like Councilwoman Richardson, that's all I'm going to say at this time about that. Brandy?
I have nothing.
Okay. Scott?
No comments.
Mark?
Be here this Thursday, September 18th, from 9 to 11:30 to talk to people about their land use and zoning questions.
Speaking of that, I have a question about the activity that's been taking place where the trees were knocked down. Was there any progress made as far as the site development plan there? Has that been done yet? Or?
Not a site development plan. They did present an arborist report, which reviewed in my office with myself and a landscape architect. The report that they prepared was done by somebody who's quite reputable. We've used themselves, so I don't have any questions about that. We did authorize 4 additional trees. Now, I heard before the meeting that maybe they got more aggressive than that.
They had a machine with a chain or wire or something tied to that big live oak tree to the east of the building. So I don't know what was...
I noticed when I looked at it, the reason I brought that up, I noticed that there was quite a bit of activity going on over there today. And as far as I can tell, the live oak is standing. It hasn't been bothered, but I think they took down 1 or 2 more big water oaks.
Yeah.
But we're still waiting on the final site plan on that.
Yes,
Okay.
and they tell me that they're working on a survey now, and that survey will then be provided to their engineer, and they'll put together an application.
I think there were some people surveying, as a matter of fact, over there maybe today. I saw some folks over there. Okay. Anything else?
Probably one thing I could say, just a quick update on something. I don't know if y'all may not have heard or read about the First District Court of Appeal ruled unconstitutional the state's ban on open carry of guns last week. So what that means is we don't have a ban on open carry anymore. I'm working with other city attorneys, with law enforcement agency attorneys to figure out exactly what that means. We're trying to work our way through what that means. The state attorney, the attorney general is not appealing the decision of the First District Court of Appeal. Actually came out and said that was a victory for the Second Amendment, and he lost the case. So it seems like he may have orchestrated this defeat, if you will, but they're not appealing it, and there was a letter from the Attorney General saying that is binding precedent for the whole state of Florida. The only reason I mention that is you might see people walking around with guns on their shoulder or on their side, on the sidewalks, or private property owners can still control it. It's really a question on public property. I heard in Port Orange there's a guy riding up and down Dunlawton with an AR-15 on his back, completely open. So,
does that make it legal to carry a firearm inside of a public building like a town hall or a bank?
Not for the people that are doing it the right way.
Well, the question is that's where the question is. I read an email today from the general counsel from the Police Chiefs Association. His analysis is, so we had a ban on carrying weapons, in the public. We then created a concealed weapon permit, a way to do that. So in the concealed weapons permit, it says this doesn't authorize you to carry a handgun into public buildings, into courthouses, into police departments, into schools, because those were prohibited under the open carry. Well, now we don't have the open carry. So it raises a question about what rule prohibits somebody from bringing a gun in here.
Right.
And he said that even if, the concealed weapon permit deals with a handgun. So it says you cannot carry a handgun into a commission meeting. What about shotgun? Right. Something like, it's something other than a handgun. Mm-hmm. Those are the questions. Or into a courthouse. Counties are struggling with that issue right now to say, can we prohibit people from carrying guns into the courthouse now? These are all questions that are being debated throughout the state. And, I have a really hard time as an attorney because the Florida Supreme Court, say 2017, ruled open carry was constitutional. And I'm not an anti-gun person or anything like that. I'm just saying that's what they ruled. And what I have a hard time with is it's real clear in the law that District Court of Appeals cannot overturn the Florida Supreme Court. That's just a higher court. What you can do is you can say, Supreme Court, we understand your ruling. We think you made a mistake. This is how we would analyze it. So we're certifying that to the Supreme Court for discussion, for you to reevaluate it. And the Supreme Court could decide to do that. For the DCA, any DCA, to go and effectively overturn the Florida Supreme Court, and there's no good mechanism to get it to the Florida Supreme Court because the Attorney General, you had two people in this case. You had the petitioner, the person who was charged with a crime of violating open carry. Well, he just got off, so he ain't gonna appeal it. And you have the Attorney General who's supposed to uphold the law, you would think would appeal it, and he's not appealing it. So that decision is going to be final. It's not going to go to the Florida Supreme Court that I see. It's not going to go there by the Attorney General. And the Attorney General sent out a memo. I haven't seen it, but I was told that this is the binding precedent for the entire state of Florida. Sent that off to all the law enforcement agencies. So we're in strange times. We're evolving. The only reason I tell you this, if you see somebody walking with a hunting rifle on their back down the sidewalk, don't freak out. It's just a change of times. We're in changing times right now about this issue. So, and I'll certainly work with the sheriff and I may bring it up to them and ask them, say, what are y'all thinking about all this stuff?
What's your plan?
You're our law enforcement people, so what are y'all thoughts as we go through that one-year contract? Just what's y'all's position? It's just a very unique time we're in, and the laws regarding guns are changing, and they just change very rapidly, and we'll see how it pans out.
Thank you. Guys, Mark, Ryan?
I don't have anything.
Yvonne, you guys have anything? Is there anybody in the audience that would like to ask any questions? Yes, sir.
Lester Pulley, 363 North Pine Street. Don't see the events on the agenda. Are we not doing that anymore?
Well, we were a little short-staffed, so I kind of skipped over it on Friday because I didn't have enough time to get to it.
Probably an oversight.
The rodeos this weekend?
Yes.
Yep. There's a kids fishing day in Astor Saturday morning.
Where are they going to be doing that at, do you know?
I don't remember. Does
Maybe
anybody
at
know?
Butler Street Boat Ramp or something?
I think so. I think that's where it is.
Okay, the Butler Ramp, Butler Street.
Butler Ramp?
Butler Street Boat Ramp? That's the big public boat ramp there.
That sounds right.
Yeah, probably so.
That's Saturday morning. The vendor market, I know that stopped for the summer, but it's pretty nice in the mornings now. Do you know, are they going to start that again?
Saturday.
This coming Saturday? So we got the rodeo, the fishing.
It's going to start this Saturday.
Yeah.
I believe so, right?
The 20th.
So we got a lot going on Saturday.
Yeah, Saturday's going to be a busy day.
All right. And Florida State plays at 3:30, but everybody already knows that.
That's right.
All right, thank you.
With you.
Thank you, Lester.
Thank you. Anybody else? One more chance. Anybody on the council have anything?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Alrighty. I want to make everybody aware of these following meetings. The next regular council meeting scheduled Tuesday, October the 7th, 2025 at 6:30 p.m. And again on Tuesday, October the 21st at 6:30 p.m. And we'll have a planning commission meeting on September the 23rd. That's a Tuesday at 6 p.m. And I want to make everybody here aware that the last week of the month I'm going to be out of town for about 9 or 10 days. My wife and I are going to take a much-needed vacation.
Well deserved.
Good deal. All right. Anybody have anything else? Being no further business, meeting is adjourned.
same.